Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick-and-mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. One thing I want to say is, like, with the world of community, is I feel like now more than ever, people are craving it again.
Yeah.
Because I love that the world is advancing with AI. I think that is so exciting and brilliant, and you should absolutely hop on that train, because if you don't, you're going to be so freaking lost in the dust. So there's that. But because of the growth and evolution of AI that is constantly changing, people are craving that human connection. And so if you are able, like yourself, what Matt and I do also, to create the space where people can be in community, and you're never going to have everyone on board, at least from our experience. Like,
100%.
yeah. All right. Perfect. I was like, you agree. We can agree on that one.
I don't know why this is the hill we want to die on, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone tells
People
you
are
that,
hard.
yeah. And people are numbed out and they're distracted. And so I'm sorry I cut you off, but like, it is the most important thing. We fundamentally all need it. Belongingness is everything to all of us, but it is super easy to deprioritize. And so it is an interesting hill you and I have chosen to die on, because sometimes I feel like I'm screaming and no one's paying attention. And it's like heart shattering. And then you're like, nope, still, even if I help that one woman, like, isn't it worth it? Like, isn't it?
You could have a day where you're like, oh my gosh, I am crushing life in my business today. And then someone comes over and they're like, I need to have a hard conversation with you. I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, wind right out of my sail.
Yeah.
She gone. And you could just, and then you have to course correct. And again, I know you and I have these conversations as girlfriends that business is hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. And sometimes you are thrown really shitty curveballs.
Yeah.
That you are completely unexpecting. And I would love your insights on this, respectfully, for the, what we have gone through and have shared more intimately together, but for sake of a very public conversation on a podcast and YouTube. But how have you navigated those challenges? Because they hurt.
Yep. So, so this is I think, an important question. As entrepreneurs, this is going to happen. And we have a choice. So we do get better at it. It does get easier. You really need your people. Like, I think it was a year ago you came for an IV and I talked at you and maybe even cried for the entire time, because I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this, So there are moments where the wind is taken out of you and you're like, I didn't see that coming. I feel totally sideswiped. And it's this interesting thing where you're a business owner, you're responsible for people, you need to you desire to make an impact, you have commitments. And so part of you has to show up and everything is okay and you've got it under control and no one needs to worry because I've got it. But your heart is breaking. And so you're holding a lot at one time. And I think that's why we need each other as high achievers. Like, we need our people that we can, fall apart in front of and behind closed doors. And not everybody needs to bear witness to that. It does get easier. And the thing I want to say to that, as it gets easier, I think the very important thing of why we put ourselves in rooms of people who care about us and invest in relationships and all these pieces is that you don't want your heart hardened as a response to the fact that these things are completely normal in business. So you and I were just talking right before we hit record. When you are really good at what you do, you can inspire people so much that they outgrow the opportunity, or they don't see the value in the opportunity they did when they first started with us. And that's equal parts what a success. We're really good at what we do, and equal parts earth-shattering, heartbreaking.
Well, and I was saying to you, I was like, sharing about a recent team member that is going on to pursue other things, and I'm super excited for her, but she's such a little rock star that when I kind of sat with the emotions behind the change, I felt grief.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm so sad. Like, I'm so bummed. Should also feel really proud, but it's like Google reviews. You can have 10 amazing 5-star Google reviews, and then you can have that one troll that could literally be a troll.
Yeah.
Let alone if it is maybe just harsher feedback. But let's call it, 10 positive 5-star Google reviews and a singular 1-star review. What is the business owner going to focus on?
What we all focus on.
Yeah. What is the average human going to focus on? The 1-star review, the negative. Yeah. It's the same thing like lifting weights. You can look amazing 6 days a week, and then you feel fat day on day 7, and that's how you're going to see yourself versus all the hard work that you do. No matter what the situation is, I feel like us as humans, and probably also us as women, are so hard on ourselves. And it is so wonderful to sit in that growth and appreciation of developing great people and relationships or partnerships. And then they leave. And, it's one thing if it's a positive departure or that, how they exit stage left. But if it is not positive, how does that feel?
Yeah. So this is why I want to contribute to this conversation, because you learn. I've been an associate. I've now been a clinic owner. I've had to fire people, which is devastating. People have left me. I've had friends work with me and that not work out. Like, there's all kinds of really interesting things that just sort of, you're just like, whoa, I did not realize this was such an accelerator in like being a human being.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Great lessons in resiliency.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like resilience training camp to be an entrepreneur.
100%. And so I think the things that I've learned that I'd like to contribute to this is, I wish this, like, either side you sit on, I wish to be a person that handles themselves with a high level of integrity. And it's heartbreaking when you don't get that in return. And I think for a lot of people, I was just sitting in a wild circle recently, and this woman was sharing, like, she wished a conversation could go differently. And I was like, but didn't this individual behave exactly as you expected them to? And she was like, yes. I'm like, then like, stop acting surprised, because the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So unfortunately, we're not going to understand why some people behave the way they behave. And so you have to reconcile that for yourself and not harden your heart in the process. Like, remain integral for you. Do the things that make you feel like you're being of service, or, whatever that you need to do. The other thing that I've gotten really good at is letting myself finally feel. As someone who has notoriously stuffed things down when things are hard or distracted herself, I don't want to do that anymore. That's part of the breathwork conversation. I really want to let myself feel so that I can act in accordance with how I actually feel. And so I've given myself breathing room. So in the last two instances,
breathwork facilitator
on brand, come on. In the last two instances where I can think of, like, relationships not going the way I expected, they both were on Fridays. What the heck? And I literally said on the Friday, like, I'm going to let myself cry, feel rage, grief, anger, whatever needs to come through. You have until Monday, Michelle Paris. And then Monday morning, we're going to know what to do. But first, feel. And that's new for me. And I remember, like, I was sitting in a soccer field. My mother-in-law was like, how are things going? And I was like, well, I think you gave her an IV or one of those days. And then it was like Monday morning, the solution came, and it was like, okay, we pivot. Like, that's not how I saw this going, but we pivot. Like, what else? What other option do you have? I'm not going to harden my heart over this. I'm going to take the information that I need. Were there signs? There were. Okay, good data. Great data for next time. Yep. When I'm picking working relationships, when I'm picking people I confide in, when I'm navigating life, I'm going to extrapolate the wisdom. I'm not going to get bothered by the things I have no control over. That's going to let go. And if I let myself fully alchemize the feelings, that is the absolute consequence. It happens 100% of the time. The only time we keep reliving traumas when it's stuck and it hasn't been processed. So once it moves through and all emotions have a rise, a peak, and a fall, Once it moves through, once it's been alchemized, you pull the wisdom and you move forward genuinely. And so I think that's always been the goal, is like, we're moving forward. Okay. So I have this information. I actually now know a little bit more about trusting my gut. Someone said something like, I always say, like, because a lot of people, because you're so bubbly, people are like, is she the real deal? I'm like, no, I need you to know something about Allie. She's the real deal. Like, I have a coherence metric in my body that I trust so much now. I'm like, her and Matt have never not once have ever like, and you know how refreshing in business that is to say. I don't know of many people I could say that about. Like, that is, but that's from years of extrapolating data and saying like, okay, I've learned so much about people. I see how people move. I'm going to take the wisdom and I'm going to use that going forward. And right now my team is outstanding, and we tell each other how much we care for each other, how much we want each other. And I'm like, I'm getting better at this through those lived experiences, although painful in the moment. I'm getting really good at hiring. I'm getting really good at who I invest in my time and resources into. Yeah. You ask me to do something, I do it. Why? Because I deeply care about you, because you've been consistent with me. That is a choice. And there's been people, this has made me brave. It's a bit of an offshoot, but it's important. There's also been people who've come to me and said, oh, I'd like really like to re-engage in a relationship again, like friendship. And I was like, unfortunately,
I'm tapped.
Yeah. And I was just saying this in a masterclass. That person has come back and asked for lunch. It's like, well, maybe it's a rebirth of a new relationship, but at least the expectations are not going to be what they were, because I was brave enough to be honest. And I think this is what I care about. I care about integrity in business. I care that we learn the lessons, but we don't get hardened. Does it break your heart? Yeah. Will my heart be broken again? I'm sure. That's life. But you do start to let it roll more, realize that it's not always going to make sense. People are still going to people. I say humans will human 100% of the time.
Yep.
And you just choose who you invest in, and you get really, really discerning and good with being like, and the rest, I'm just not going to entertain. Just like how you've probably, as you have more visibility, you've probably had to really disconnect from maybe people who don't like that or have something, right? You can't take that on. As you get bigger, what are you going to do? Carry it all?
Yes. And I think I have two things to say on this front, that through, again, lived experiences, I will get to the points where, and sometimes I'll get invited to things, and it is still nice to be invited, in terms of whether it's something business related or social related. It's nice as a human or as a female to be invited. Be like, oh my gosh, that's nice. It's nice for my ego. I absolutely don't want to go, but I love the invite. And then I guess you have to prepare for the fact that like you'll eventually no longer be invited. But I have become very aware of, and again, through lived experiences, what makes me feel good and what does not. And as I have increased my visibility, I've attracted more opportunities. I'm probably working more than I ever have before. And I think that's also entrepreneurship. We choose to work 80-hour weeks versus 40. It's all over Instagram Reels.
I know. It's such a lie.
I know. Like, oh, run your own schedule.
20-hour work week.
Sure.
Cute.
Yeah, I was working at 6:30 this morning before going to train a client, which was actually quite peaceful with a coffee. But look where I got to work. I got to work in my own home with my husband and my dogs.
Yeah.
So I'm so fine to do that. But I have become much better, again, through these experiences of knowing, like, what makes me feel good and what doesn't, and what's important to me. So I have actually increased the amount of time at home compared to filling a social calendar, because some things just don't light me up. And I love going to events and experiences that do cost me time and money, because I travel often to the US, and those are going to be full on days. And I want to make sure that my energy levels are prepared for that, to be in probably fight or flight and operate at a higher frequency. But oh my gosh, is my cup going to be so filled and overflowing by the time I come home, and then I can recalibrate.
Yep.
And that is my one thought. But also when it comes to these experiences and knowing who you're working with, that I think as we grow in entrepreneurship, we get better at making decisions. And I think that is an excellent trait that we as entrepreneurs and business owners can learn. I don't know if everyone can learn that, because I do think that comes with experience, how you are investing in yourself, whether it's with coaching, mentorship on a larger scale, getting in rooms, collaborating with others, just having regular conversations around business. That helps you get better. And as you get better at being a business owner and an entrepreneur, you're going to get better at making decisions. And that is really going to be helpful when you have these challenging situations. So you said that you gave yourself from Friday to Monday to cry, be angry, grieve, feel all the feelings. But Monday, you're going to roll in and be like, all right, we are solving this problem.
Yeah.
We are finding a solution. Before we hit record, I told you about an upcoming event, something that happened days ago. I was like, was not the plan. I will find a solution. And I found a solution within 10 hours because you get quicker and better at making decisions.
That's right. It is, like as you were saying, I'm like, entrepreneurship is for sure a spiritual journey. It's a rapid accelerator in personal development, and it really equips you to be able to be like, okay, what's our pivot? You wouldn't survive if you couldn't do it. You absolutely could not survive in what we do if you are going to get bitter and resentful every time a bump happens, because I assume, like every day could be bumpy. Sometimes you're is it a full moon? What is going on?
Am I in a meteor shower? What is going on?
Is Mercury in retrograde?
Again?
Yeah. Like it just, you're like, okay, wasn't expecting that information, but we're going to just we're going to figure that one out. And you start to have humor with it. And you not all the time, but you have to make so many decisions in a day that you really, and then you learn that level of discernment, which what a gift that you're like, I'm going to triage that. And even though 5 years ago, Michelle would have scaled that a 10 out of 10, 45-year-old Michelle is saying no, that's a 2 out of 10. We're okay.
Oh yeah.
We're going to be okay.
We're navigating a interesting scenario right now that have not faced this one before. And I was like, yeah, this is new for my book. I don't know how I'm going to handle this. And I'm like, who do I even ask for feedback on this? And I don't even know. Hopefully I don't have anyone that has experienced this, but it's interesting. It's challenging and trying to figure out the navigation. And I'm blessed to be in business with my husband that at least we can,
yeah.
What do you think? What do you think in this questionable situation? I don't know. What do you think? And try to find the best pivot option, the best solution that you can. But as entrepreneurs, we don't have a roadmap. We don't have any perfect planning book. And you have to make the best decision that you can.
Yeah. And trust that everything will fall exactly as it should. Going back to if opportunities present themselves the way that they do, the cards will land as they were also supposed to. So you just do the best with the information that you have. And
I think that's a great parting word of just stay open to opportunities.
Yeah.
I think also collecting some great, if you're an entrepreneur listening or watching this, that didn't even sound like proper English. If you're an entrepreneur listening to or watching this, I was like, I knew I forgot a word to make it a complete sentence in the English language. You should absolutely invest in entrepreneurial girlfriends or guy friends, depending who you're listening.
Yeah.
But it's a little hack. I think it's a cheat code in terms of advancing yourself
100%
in business. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah. And having fun with it, not losing the plot. I think it's so easy to lose the plot. So I think connections help make all of it worthwhile.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Collaboration over competition. Where can everyone find you?
Instagram at Dr. Michelle Paris. MichelleParis.com is finally live. So you can find everything that I do over there.
Oh, I love
that. And that feels good. Yeah. Easy.
I love that. I need a revamp on my website, so I'm not going to drop that here. But Ali Aruda is, I'm don't go to my website, not right now. Ali Aruda on Instagram is the best place to find me and both of our shows. Subscribe, rate, review, share it with your friends. And yeah, we love 5-star reviews.
We really do.
We really do.
It really helps.
And I love you, and I'm grateful for our friendship
I love you too.
and conversation.
Yeah, ditto.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.